Okay. Um, so Gerard, would you like to be added to the chat? Yes, it's a safe space. Okay, thank you. Oh, you're in the queue? I didn't even know. I'm sorry. Okay. Hello, how do you do? Oh, you got it.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
hello. How are you?
Hey. Hey. Yeah, I've been
Good.
listening for a minute. Um,
Okay.
you don't have to put nobody on mute. They can. I know it's some things that's being said that some of it is true, some of it is funny, but
Hmm.
some of it isn't completely true. But me and her are two totally different people. I'm very open and honest.
I could tell.
The only reason I even came to this is because people asked me, and I really just wanted to be left alone. I mean,
Right,
apparently 8 years wasn't enough for her to just not leave me alone. Um,
right.
but I only can be on here for a few minutes. But if anybody,
Okay.
I'm only comfortable being on here for a few minutes. So, I mean, if you wanted to ask anything, you can.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, what I wanted to ask you, um, was, you know, okay, when you had met her, right? So do you feel like that she profiled you? Kind of like what I said? Yes, thank you so much.
That's
I appreciate you
that's
so much for
that's a
coming up.
hard that's a hard question. When I met her, she only had two kids. So Uh, I don't know if that was the case. Will I be
Mm,
surprised by it? No. One of the
gotcha.
reasons I stopped dealing with her, and I only dealt with her for a few months, 2 to 3 months,
Mm,
because a situation happened where, he showed up to the house with some flowers and balloons, and to me, that was like, you still dealing with this guy. So I
right,
removed myself from the equation, and actually my words to her was, you need to figure that situation out before you can deal with me. That was my whole thing about it. I wasn't disrespectful. I wasn't rude. I just felt like that wasn't something I wanted to be involved with.
right. Wow.
So again, if she profiled me or not,
Yeah.
I I don't want to get my personal feelings into it because I'm still,
Yes, yes, I understand.
no matter what, she
Mhm.
still is, she still probably is the mother of my child. So no
Yes,
matter
yeah.
what, I don't
Hold
want
on
to
one
put
second,
her
baby.
out a certain way, but
Okay,
that situation
I
is
got
weird to
you.
me. That whole situation. Yep.
Right. So there were red flags early on for you, is what you're saying, basically, right?
Yep.
Yep. And it's like when you saw him, you were ready to bounce on out of there, huh? I
Yeah.
know,
And
especially if another man is bringing you, like you said, balloons, flowers, or whatever.
mhm.
Yeah, you'll be ready to dip and go. Um,
And it also was another thing
mhm,
too. Uh,
mhm,
It probably was some other red flags, but at that
okay.
time, I really shouldn't have been dating. I wasn't ready to date nobody. And
Right.
now me would have saw some other stuff. Now I look back at it, I see other things that were red flag too, but at the moment I wasn't thinking like that.
Right. But can I say one thing to you, Gerard? I wanted to tell you, please stop blaming yourself. Like, you cannot, blame yourself because I was listening to you, right? And I think you're a very genuine, sincere person. And, just because somebody, you know, did you wrong, it's like, don't think that that was your fault. Like I hear you say, I shouldn't have been dating, and stuff like that. You had nothing to do with that. Her intentions, were her intentions, but she'll always get her karma back for that. You understand?
I think I talk like that because again I have other boys. And I'm
Right.
raising and again I make it very clear I'm raising them to be men one day. And
Yeah.
there's a little bit of accountability that I have to take as well. To even put
Okay.
myself in a position with a person that's like her.
Hmm.
I wish that my dad was present, but I wish I would have listened more. And that's the thing that I
Right.
say to a lot of males is they need to listen more to the people around them that can help them, you know, vet people. And I hate to say it like that, but you gotta vet people to know what you're getting yourself into. Because at that
Right.
time I just wasn't smart enough to pay attention.
Don't
Yeah,
say
to pay
that.
attention to certain things. No, it's true. It's true. And that's me being accountable of some of the things. So some of this stuff that I kind of brought onto myself. Uh,
I can
But
understand you, but
going
I would
forward,
like to
it's gonna
say
be some
this.
things gonna change.
I would like to say this. I think you're very accountable for your actions and for, whatever happened back then. I think you're one of the most accountable people that I've ever heard talk on Bigo, to be honest. I really do think you're very accountable. And I
I
appreciate that. And I appreciate your honesty too.
Yeah, and again, I wouldn't even be on here. I listen, I've heard people talk about other people taking money. I haven't taken a dime. I just wanted my name to be left out of it. And when brought my name up, she pulled me into something that I didn't ask for. That's why the other night when I asked her, is to leave Hezekiah out of stuff. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
do stuff on your own, you do it on your own. But at least
Correct.
allow him to have a level of privacy while all of this stuff is going on. Because at the end of the day, he
Mm.
got to go into a school. He got to grow up and see some of this stuff on the internet, and that's not comfortable, you know, for him to be able to see, you know. And I don't think that that's a cool thing. So again, I'm not just up here trying to clear my name or clear anything. I got to do it because he don't need to be a part of somebody. What she said is out of line. Period. Some of the
Right.
stuff she said was out of line.
Right.
I would have never told someone. I raised a son alone, and his mom isn't very involved. And
Mm-hmm.
I always tell him that until the day she dies, you still have a chance to have a relationship with her. She had the
Right.
chance to be mature enough to say that to him. But to say that I
Mm.
died and then I was risen again,
Yes.
she was trying to she was trying to she was trying to add a level of hurt
Yep.
that no
Trauma.
one should feel.
Right. That's
That's not
trauma.
cool.
That's major
That's
trauma
not cool.
for a child
Yes.
to hear. That's major trauma. That's very cruel and sick. Like that could have messed him up in school. That could have messed him up for the rest of his life. Say this didn't happen. And that's a start.
And I that's what I originally told them no to an interview, and that's what made me
Yeah.
decide to do it after they told me to watch a couple videos and I watched three of them before then, and that
Mm.
was the one that made me actually say no, I'm going to do it. Including my wife telling me, "Yo, you need to stop thinking about yourself and think about that baby." Um,
Right.
that was another thing that she told me,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to. It was hard to pull myself out of that and think about him just because I've tried to only think about what's best for me for so long.
Right.
But after watching some of those videos after the interview,
Mm-hmm.
let me just say some things are gonna change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I know other people got questions. So if they do, I still got a
It's
few more
okay.
minutes. They can ask. They
Okay,
can
that's
ask
cool.
whatever.
Cola James, would you like to ask him a question?
Yes,
Yes,
yes. Nice,
your wife is
nice
a
meeting you,
wonderful
Gerard.
woman. Go
You
ahead,
know,
Chloe.
you're
Thank you.
You're doing what you need to do, and we understand how people can get trapped up with people, but when you first met Angelica or whatever, right? Like what attracted you to her? Like,
Mm,
Um, I think so when I met her, I had just recently got out of a relationship um with one of my son's mothers. And I was just looking for someone who I thought was going to be, you know, I wanted to have more kids. So I really was looking for somebody who was going to be younger because this narrative that people believe, you tell men, which is find somebody younger, you can have more kids, the energy, all of that. I was kind of believing some of that stuff, right? So when I looked at her, looked at her as she was young, she'll have energy with kids. I'll be able to have you know, a life that would be alive. So that kind of attracted me was I would be able to have a certain type of life. Um, so what I did was I gave a little too much information, I believe at the beginning, which was, you know, I'm looking for a Christian kind of household, Christian belief. I said those things, and I think when I said that, she started gravitating towards that, and that's what also brought me in too. I thought I was going to be dealing with someone who was going to bring me, you know, kids, a good life, young, energy.
okay,
That's what I thought.
you
That
was trying
definitely
to
changed
think the
because my wife
long
is
run
older.
with her. You was trying to possibly establish something, and it didn't go that way.
Yeah, yeah. And the mistake was that I thought I couldn't do it with somebody that was my age or older because my wife now is older than me, and I love it.
mm,
Hmm. Well, that's all I have for you. But salute to you. We sending positive energy out to you. Hopefully things work out for the best because it's really not fair to Hezekiah. It's not fair to any of her kids, but Hezekiah, like a lot of us have a attachment to Hezekiah where he really has nobody. You get what I'm saying?
right,
Where at least Matthew has Cooper, the twins possibly will have Cooper. He has nobody, and that's a hard feeling for her to have to tell him, like, well, to tell him that you are unalive. You get what I'm saying? And then the other kids, even though Patrick is not ish, you get what I'm saying, or whatever, it's like it's still a presence of a father. So I hope
right.
that sometime soon y'all get to reconnect. You know what I'm saying? You get to learn Hezekiah gets to learn you, and then you might be the changing source that's needed for this young man. You feel me? So thank you for coming up
Yeah,
here,
and
and
and I think that was the hard thing too, was to hear certain things from certain people. I don't think people were malicious. I think people were saying things from their experiences, and after a while, I had to really just listen to a few people. Um, I will say something personally on the back end. I don't think he would mind me saying it. I did have a conversation with Cooper, and
Mm,
one of my first questions was, we talked about who Hezekiah is as a person, and
right.
we had a good conversation, and he let me understand what type of kid he is, and
Mm,
and so that was one of our, I don't think he would mind me talking about that, but we had a good conversation, and again, I'm working on doing better.
okay, great. That sounds great. Diva, would you like to ask a question? I know she had put her thing up. Go ahead, Diva.
Hello, Drat. I have a
Uh,
question, and you might not be able to answer this. It doesn't necessarily pertain to you per se, but do you know, is Patrick Samaya's dad?
oh God, I'll try to leave my personal opinions out. Uh, Personal opinions is gonna get me and their mom, and me and Hezekiah mom in a fight that I don't want to be a part of. Um,
Okay. I mean, you don't have to answer it. I just wanted to touch on that
I
because you've
think
been very open
let
and
me say
honest
this.
on
Let me say
every
this.
panel.
Let me say this. Let me say at least this, and I don't think she would get mad at me for saying this. Um, I think people I think people might be calling her out on something that she got
Okay.
to now address.
Well, I would like to ask him a couple of more questions.
Well, I'd like to send peace and blessings to you, brother. You know, you sound like you're moving in the right direction. And Woo Fairy is part of the ZFG sister family. We all kind of stay together, so you're in a safe zone when you come to ZFG or Woo Fairy's panel. I just want you to know that, and have a blessed day.
Well, thank you, Miss Diva. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, Mr. Gerard, if you don't mind, I would like to know. So I know, like when you had came up and you said, everything was new and it was heavy. I can imagine that it was because you said that you had only found out what in the first 24 hours or something.
Yeah, so I was contacted 24 hours before it, and I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with her. And
Oh,
again, the wild thing is, the reason some people were like, well, we don't know if you're real, and I sent them old text messages, and they already know who I am. Um,
mm,
but yeah, so 24 hours was all I really had. And then the next,
right,
I said no. I told them no because I didn't want to have anything to do with her. And then
right.
she nicely said to me, your name is all over the internet. I was like, how did you find me? She said she told us your name. And I said no, she wouldn't. She wouldn't do that. I've been gone for this long, and she don't really. The only time she messaged me is through Facebook, and she wouldn't do that. And then she was like,
Right.
okay, you need to watch just a couple videos. I'm gonna leave you alone. And so she left me alone. And I saw a video where she literally says my name, full name, my work, and I think what really got me really offended,
Mhm.
she talked about my son, my other son. If you talk about me all
Oh,
day, that's fine.
right,
But you don't bring up my
right.
son, you don't bring up my other kids' mothers, you don't do that. It's a respect here.
Mhm.
You know, um, and to tell you how respectful we are over here, um, I just recently had a kid, and my other son's mother bought my son some clothes and stuff for my now
Right, right.
son. So we
Oh,
are
wonderful.
respectable people on
And
this end. So
congratulations on the new
thank
son.
you. And
You're
so
welcome.
we don't play that game. We don't play that disrespect game. And so
Right,
when she did that, it made me jump on, and it made me say enough is enough.
right. And I commend you for that. I really do. And I do kind of think like at first, a lot of people wanted answers right then, like, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're like, hold on, because you had just found out about everything. So I understand that you probably felt like you were bombarded, and people were probably like, but we just want to know, like, are you going to do this? Are you
Yeah.
going to, you're like, wait a minute, I got to process
And
this. Let me
and it was some
process
things
my
that I didn't
thoughts.
know. Like people on the spot
Right.
said things that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And granted, I should have known. I give you that. I should have been in the loop. I should have been. I give you that. But I still
Hmm.
can't make a lot of decisions off of stuff that I just knew. Because again,
Yeah.
I've said it before. I have boys that I have to raise into to decent men one day. So I always tell them you can't take words back after you say them. So be careful to
Right.
say certain things. So I had to also
Mm.
take that advice that I give them, and I had to be slow to say some things too because I was unsure. And still now I'm not disrespectful to her. I just say what my experience with her.
You know what, and I'm gonna be real, like with you. I love the way that you were telling her. You were like, look, I haven't disrespected you, called you out of your name or anything. Can you just give me that same respect? But I also noticed how you were saying how she flips the script. Like, And I believe everything you said, like about when y'all before y'all went into the courthouse or whatever, the courtroom, I think. And you said that she said, "Well, I'll tell them you art me or did something to me." I believe you because she came and had fixed her hair different and was talking in the camera like, "Hi guys, so yeah, I didn't even know that he was over here. Yeah, so what's going on?" And mind you, she had been watching the whole time. The whole time.
She operates with me a little different, and
Mhm,
I'm going to say that is some of the stuff that's being said. She
mhm.
knew that I didn't. That's not what I signed up for, and I nicely walked away. I don't have.
Oh,
She doesn't have too much on me because we stopped that day. That day that I told everybody
yeah.
when the dad showed up. That was the last time me and
Mhm,
her was physical. I never wanted to be physical with her because I felt like if I didn't set a line right there, it would always
right.
be something else. And so that line right there drew the I'm not going to be physical with you. She didn't tell me that I had a son until months after we were, she didn't tell me she was pregnant until like maybe a month after I had stopped dealing with her.
Oh,
And
wow.
I thought it was one of those things where she was just trying to get me to come back.
Right. Like I'm pregnant now, like, are you gonna get back with me? Yeah, I
Right.
get that.
Right.
Right.
And so after she had said some of the things she said, to me it was like,
Mhm,
no, but at the same time, I wanted to be respectful. And all of this stuff I can back up. I kept text
mhm.
messages just in case she got crazy. Um,
Right.
and one
For
of the
one of
things
these
is,
days.
yeah, one of the things is we even talked about what we would do. We had this conversation. If this is my child, if it's a girl, if it's a boy, we had that conversation. And then
Mhm,
in the same day, she flipped on me and she started being disrespectful. And I couldn't handle that. It
right.
was things that I wasn't comfortable with. So it just didn't work out.
So can I ask you this? So, okay, y'all were, dating or whatever, everything was going great, and then just one day she just boom, flipped the script, or was it a slow
Um,
leading up to
no,
that?
she'll tell you. She'll tell you. I think she said it in one of those videos she did talking about me, is that
Mm,
um, it was all good, and then we got into a little argument, and then she flipped, and because I've never seen that side of her, it was enough for me.
oh,
She
okay.
said it in one of her videos. I'm not saying anything she didn't say. That's almost exactly how it
Right,
went. And then after that, after she flipped on me, it was, I didn't want to have anything to do with her.
right.
And I don't think we
So,
were dealing with each other long enough for me to be like, oh, this is one
yeah,
time thing. Yeah.
right. Well, as far as Hezekiah goes, he seemed like he's a very bright young man, you know, and I think he would, I mean, flourish in the right surroundings. You know what I mean? And around the right people, like you said. I really do.
That's what again, I don't want to tell a conversation that me and Cooper had, but that's
No,
something
that's
that
fine. Yeah.
Cooper said to me too. Me and Cooper had a
Yes,
good
I do
conversation, and
believe that.
that's one of the things that
Cause
he
he,
said to me.
cause he seems like he's a very, smart young man. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think he'll have a bright future. But in the same token, like you said, you have you know, like a circle of people that's in your life. So I
Mhm.
understand, about having to talk and see what's the best direction and stuff like that. I only just hope that all of those children, you know, uh, get the proper circumstances. You know what I mean? Because what she's giving them, I'm sorry, all of the cursing and it gets tiring. It really does. And to me, it's like she tries to punish when it's no need, or She doesn't have any structure. That's another thing we were talking about too. It's like, as a child grows up, you teach them as they go. And it doesn't seem like she's been doing that. And even when she was reading with one of them, like she needs to go back to school and really concentrate on herself as well, you know? And exploiting like your children, that's not cool. And I'm glad you did ask
So
her.
I try to be very careful about talking about other people's parenting. I
Mhm.
am definitely careful when it comes down to her because again, most people got to understand this still possibly might be the kid of my mother that she's the mother of my son. So I have to still be careful and respectful. But I don't agree with some of the stuff she's doing.
Yeah,
I don't agree. And it was easy before for her to tell me that it's not going on. But
yeah.
as you watch stuff, and she brought it to the internet,
Yes.
so I don't have to say anything negative that you guys haven't seen.
Right. No, I'm
Um,
not asking
so
you to.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
ask
but
you to,
I'm just it's it is I don't I'm just want to make it clear that I don't agree with some of the stuff that I'm seeing.
I understand. I understand. But like I was saying, he's a great young man, and I think he has a bright future ahead of him. Um,
I'm
oh,
hoping
can,
that
can I ask you one more question then? Because
go ahead.
you did say that you feel like if you and Cooper, did like were to go to court, do you think that they would still look at, because you said you feel like they'll look at y'all like y'all are teaming up on. Do you still have that stance?
Um, let me say this. I'm always good for listening to when I became a dad doing it alone. One thing I
Mhm.
did is I gravitated towards um, women who's been doing single houses for a while, and I started to listen to some things. Um, I've been in court with other kids. We've went through negotiations. I've did it all different type of ways. But the one thing I've
Right,
never done is sit in that court with somebody else who's going through the same thing that I'm going through. So
right,
I think the I don't remember the lady who said it, but I think she had a good point about going about putting heads together and
right.
without giving
Yes.
too much information.
Yep, yep, yep.
Without giving too
Yep.
much information.
I understand. Right.
Like I said, I had a good me and him had a really good conversation and it was one of those conversations that I like talking to fathers. And I like talking to fathers who love. And
Yes.
our conversation was pure love. Um, and it
Mm.
was nothing but love for the boys. And I'm actually smiling right now because it was a lot of love. So
Right.
without giving any information, Cooper might have just made a friend.
Oh, I'm so happy about that. I just would like to, wish you well in your endeavors, with Hezekiah. And I thank you for coming up.
Yeah. And again too, I'm hoping to figure something out within the next week or two with her, so I can get to meet him. So I don't want people to think that I'm just go just let this one ride. She she yeah, it's she went a little too far.
Right.
Not a little, a lot too
Yeah.
far.
Right. Yeah, she did. And I thank you for even still respecting her through all of what you've seen. You know, that's
Yeah, I
very
mean,
commendable.
at the end of the day, like I said, I don't. I, again, I have all boys. I believe that God blessed me with boys for a reason. Um,
Mm,
and the one thing, like I said, I raised my boys off of If I don't do it, you can't do it. So
Right.
as soon as they see me disrespecting a woman, it's gonna make them think that they can do it, and I can't afford that. I really can't afford that.
Right.
So I still got a couple more minutes. So if anybody want to ask any questions, they
Okay.
can.
All right.
Because
Anybody
I
else
know,
want
because
to have a question?
because when I was in here, I know people were saying some things. So
Just raise your hand if anybody on the panel have a question, and I'll unmute y'all or whatever. Um, you know, anybody in the comment number three. Mm-mm. Yes, ma'am. Your best nightmare. Hello.
Hello, and hello, Gerard. I just want to
uh,
come here and I'd like to tell you, I commend you. I do. I know that it came from a lot of hurt of hearing what was told to your son. And, I thank God that someone actually came and told her, hey, that's wrong. And now look at the bond that you guys can begin to do. But one thing I want to let you know that it might be on virtual reality, but do know she thinks she got a village. Baby, when I tell you, you and Cooper got one of the strongest villages behind you
Yes.
guys right now. You got some of the biggest support behind you that want to see you guys win. And the fact that you two can come together as men and talk about your children together, you just don't know how much I respect that. Like I said, I commend both of you guys, but since you're here, I want to let you know you get the utmost respect from me. And I wish you nothing but the best for you and your relationship with you and your son. I really do.
mhm.
Yeah.
And listen, it's not easy. And you know what's not easy when you hear people, tell you about yourself, and whether it's true or not true, it's gonna always be hard. So
You're right.
Hey, did anybody else on the panel have a question? Box four, box five. Miss Pancake. Okay.
Hey,
Miss
what's up,
Pancake,
Gerard?
you have the floor.
I
uh,
just want I just want to say that yes, I am very proud that you are stepping up and taking care of your responsibility, and I think that's wonderful. More men should be like that, And I'm glad you came on here to tell your story, so I appreciate you.
no problem. Listen, I didn't ask to come. I didn't ask to come here. She brought me into this. Now let me first say that too. I was I was minding my business, paying my child support. When she brought my name up, she brought me into this. So and now after she bringing me into this, I have to take everything that's been going on into accountability, and I mean into a a bigger scope of things. So I'm really just doing what I believe I would tell my sons to do if they were in this situation.
Indeed, baby girl Shay. She did do this. She mentioned him, and as far as he was concerned, they already had an understanding. So I totally understand where he's coming from. Yes, I feel like he's doing the right thing as well. Um, Mr. Gerard, okay, you said that you were always paying your child support to her, right?
Hmm.
Okay, because I mean, she at one point in time had said, like she wasn't getting it or something, but you confirmed that you always did pay.
Yeah, she a couple months that she didn't get it. That's because I paid extra. I always pay extra.
Hmm.
I paid extra on purpose because there was a time when I didn't have a job and it kept ranking up. So what I decided to do is, if I ever didn't have a job, it would be, I would still have money in the pocket just in case anything
Right.
happened. That's just the type of person I am. I prepare for things that may or may not happen. And again, God has been able to bless me with decent enough jobs to where I can do stuff like that. Um,
Right.
so that's what that is. And if she's not getting anything, again, I don't think I'm telling her business by saying this. I did send her a message after that interview, and I told her that if she don't get anything by next Friday, I'll call them. I'll call down there and see what's up. I've never had a problem with making sure that she was okay. That's never
Right.
been an issue for me. All she has to do is say it, and I'll take care of certain things.
Wow. Wow. You're really a great a great guy. Like seriously. Oh my goodness. Like, oh
Her
Lord.
her
A stand
that's
up guy.
that's
Exactly, Jesse.
that's most of the reason why she really didn't really like she doesn't say too many crazy things about me, but I'm fat and black, but most of the reasons I don't show myself on the camera because she don't know how I look anymore. I went out here and got me a wife. So I ain't that fat
Mm,
nugget.
right.
But she don't know who I am now and she doesn't know the anything. So I don't want to give her any MO to come at me a certain way.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I
that's one
wouldn't
of the
want
reasons
you
I
to do
don't
that.
come on camera. And
Mm-hmm.
it's and again, all of this, my whole everything is based off of, my relationship with my boys. And again, I want you to understand when I talk about my team, I mean the people that help
Hmm.
me out, and
Yeah.
also I mean that I have to sit down with my boys. My sons, and I don't mind giving out ages. No, I'm not gonna give ages.
Mhm.
But I'm working with boys from teenage, well, baby, all the way up to adults. So when I
Right.
sit down and I talk to them, we sit down as a family, as a group. So
That's great.
um so when I talk to them about Hezekiah, it's going to be as a
Hmm.
group,
Right.
and
Right.
we bring him into a world where their understanding, and they're going to know the understanding of what's going on with him, and
Right.
again, there's going to be a respect level for all of us for him. And again, I don't have a problem with. I think my boys are great, so I know that he will have no problem being brought into our situation because my boys just love on people. That's just who they are.
That's great. I think Hezekiah is gonna be so happy. I mean, to meet his siblings,
I hope
father,
so. I
all that
hope
great
so.
stuff. Yeah,
I hope so. I really do. That's kind of
I
what I'm
really
hoping.
think so.
That's one
I
of the
really
reasons
think
why
so.
I wanted to talk to Cooper is to better understand a lot of certain situations. Even if Cooper wasn't completely honest, I feel like I'm a person that would be able to understand if he was being honest or not. But I think he was very honest, and our conversation was mostly, about our boys. That's really
Right.
what our conversation was, because we had a lot to talk about our boys, a lot of good,
Right.
a lot of things that could grow. That's really what we talked about.
Right. I think it's gonna be I mean, I really do think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a great ending. You know, I really
I
do.
hope so, but I just
I really
need
have
her to
faith
get
in
off
that.
this internet. I just need her to get off
Hmm.
this app. I need her to get off the internet. And that's most of the reason why I keep talking to people is because she needs to be off, not for her sake, but for all the other
Right.
kids. Because
Right.
it's not looking good. If she was on here doing something positive, then I wouldn't have a
Hmm.
problem. If she was on here talking about finances and helping people grow, mentally, financially, then I wouldn't have a problem. If she was trying to tell people, hey, I may not be doing a good job, but do better than me, I wouldn't have a problem. That's not what she's doing. What she's doing is she's humiliating kids on here, and they have to
Yeah.
go to school, they have to go through life,
Yes.
they have to become adults, they have to get, what if he decides that he's going to be a doctor one day, what if he decides he's going to be a lawyer
Correct.
one day, and he can't get a job because they look back at something crazy like this? He should not be, I'm gonna go on a rant.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I'm just looking to try to get her off, try to
Right.
push her off of this because this
Well,
isn't a place for her.
right. It seems to me, to be honest with you, that she likes the attention. I mean, I really think that's why everything started escalating the way it did on her page, with the children
Oh,
and
oh, 1 second, because somebody in the comments,
Mhm,
I just looked at the comments and somebody
mhm.
asked, did we have a conversation about seeing him? Yes, we are. I did talk to her right after the interview, and we had a couple messages go back and forth, and we're setting a date so I could see him, and that's why I said I hope within the next week or two I can get to see him. But I also understand there's a lot of stuff going on with CPS as well. So I think she's also limited on what she can agree to with me right now. So as of right now, I'm trying to figure out how I can see him through dealing with a lot of stuff too. That's why I was telling people it's not as easy as me walking in the house saying, "Yank, this is mine." Um,
Right.
I have to go through some stuff now because of her situation. You know, it's not that easy.
Right.
I did get with Cooper and I got in contact with CPS, but they still, I think with a bunch of stuff that's going on, they're still kind of
Mhm.
slow to doing things too. So it's not CPS fault. It's not her
Mhm.
fault. It's just because, well, it's not completely her fault. It's just because of the situation she got herself into.
Right.
It's not as simple as, yo, let's meet up at McDonald's, right? At this
Yeah.
moment, it's not that simple.
Right. Okay. Would it be okay if I message? Do you check your messages on here?
Again, I'm new to this, like a few days,
Oh,
so
okay,
I'll
okay,
try to
okay.
find my messages. I don't know how this stuff works, and personally, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't plan on staying on this app too long. I
Oh,
just
okay,
want to
okay.
stay on. I'm staying on this app long enough to get a certain amount of information because apparently
Right.
y'all got more information than I do.
Yeah, I mean, just a
And
little
most
bit,
of
but
it,
not
and
really.
most of
I
it
mean,
is
it's
because of
not
my
hard to get to
absence.
the info. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But well, okay, because I'm trying to figure out, is it a way that I could send you a message that you could check? Hmm. Yeah. But baby girl Jay is right. She said don't fall for her, mess. She's only being nice because she knows you can. What? She knows you can. Oh, get your son. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know her game. I know her game,
Hmm.
but
Right.
I'm still not gonna fall off of my square because at the end of the
Right.
day, I still got to deal with my people. But I do know this: she's not gonna get me to disrespect her because I don't feel personally like I have a reason to be disrespectful. How she's treating
Right.
how she's treating the kids, I don't agree with, but it's not enough for me to go around disrespecting her, calling her a bitch, calling her a hoe. I don't have time for that. You know,
Yeah, I noticed that.
you know,
Mhm.
but, but I will be doing what I need to do,
Right.
with this situation
Hmm.
that I feel like is the smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Because she definitely
I,
wants me to lose my cool because it would make
yeah,
her
I
feel a
could
lot better.
tell. I could
Yeah, I
tell.
mean, she did. After I asked
Mhm.
her not to give my information, she did it right in front of me, in front of everybody.
Right.
Like, I just asked you not to do that.
Thank you, work your
So
set.
I know what she be doing.
Right. Mm. Yeah, he has a lot of maturity. Amazing. Commendable. Yes, ma'am.
And the other night I was a bit emotional,
Mhm.
but it was a lot of things on me.
Yeah, it was all at once. And
Yeah,
I really understood where you were coming from because that's a lot of information just to be bombarded with. And then I understand you got people calling like, "Do you want to do an interview? Can you come over here?" Da 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 da. I get it. And then you're like, "What? What did she do? Well, what's going on with my son?" Yeah. And you still don't have like the full story. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
But like I said, I also don't want. I can't afford to have my name being out there as something that is not, and she knows that. Like, leave me
right.
out of it for what you want to do. I live in
Mhm.
reality. I don't know what this so-called reality show mess she talking about. This is her want so-called reality is some of our nightmares. I mean, how many of us want our kids to be teased at school because of stuff that we do on the internet? I mean, I could keep going, but I'm not going. But that's not cool. That's not cool.
Yep. Did anybody else have any questions, guys? Stay on CPS, Scorpio Queen says.
I
I know
will.
that's
I
right.
will. I see. I seen that. I will. I will because I've dealt with CPS before and I know what they are. That's why when I said the other day, that CPS job is to keep those kids in the house. They basically prep the mom to try to bring the kids back in the house. I know what their job is to do. And sometimes if you get a good CPS person, they are going to
Mm-hmm.
work with the dad to get those kids out of the house. Again, it's just like getting into a good officer. It's like getting to a good judge. It's just like getting to a good
Right.
lawyer. It takes time to
Right.
get there, and you may get run into a bad one along the way. So I'm gonna stay on top of them.
Come on. What?
Oh,
Oh.
okay. So, Mr. Gerard, whatever you do, I would not meet up with her personally because she played too many games. I would
Oh
reach
no,
if
I
you can
won't.
reach out to CPS, ask for the head director of CPS, and
Mm.
explain to them, what do you want to do? Explain to them, hey, I also need help paying for a DNA test, and they should provide. But yeah,
I
I
Yes.
would
don't
not
need. I
for
don't need
her.
no. Listen. I've been paying child support for a kid, and I don't even see. I got the money to pay for a DNA test, and I
Okay,
walk
Right.
around with that. But I will.
okay,
But I do think that you're right on that. Even I'm willing to even do until he gets to know me. I'm actually
right,
willing to do an hour. I'm willing to do an hour with them with them being present. I'm willing to
Mm.
do
Like
that
supervised
until
visits. Right.
yeah,
yeah, I'm willing to do supervised visits,
yeah,
once a week or whatever until he gets to know me. I'm willing to do all of that. So
Oh,
that's
okay,
some
that's
of the
so
stuff that
good.
I want to bring up to them because it's going to be a lot for him to. I mean, again, that's
take
what I
in,
was telling people the other night. It's going to be a shocker for him too. So we gotta
yeah,
we gotta go through some things together,
Yeah.
him and I.
yeah. You gotta let him grow to
Right.
know you, then get trust in you, and because of what she told him. So yeah,
Right, right. It would be different if she wouldn't have said that to him. Then it would be a
mm-hmm.
little different. It would be like, yo, he now wants to be involved. Here he goes. But what she did is you know, she jabbed him with a needle and then
So
pulled him out and then smacked his wound and said it'll be okay.
Mhm.
So
Right.
she added something very traumatic to him. And then
yeah,
as I come back, I don't want him to be mad at both of us for something that she chose to do. So I gotta be very careful about how I address him as well.
yes.
Right. And I agree,
I,
baby girl
applaud-
Jade. She plays a
I,
lot of games.
I really applaud you. You
But
are
yeah,
amazing.
I'm gonna try to work with as many people as I can and figure out the situation.
See, she can't handle
Yeah.
someone being real, someone being more of an adult. She don't know how to handle that.
No, no,
No.
she can't.
Uh-uh.
That's why the other night and I was cool when Cooper told me not to let her get me off of my game. And I was cool with telling him like, yo, don't do it. because I think that's something else too that both of us is going to need to deal with her is to keep each other a little grounded a little bit
Yeah, and it
Right.
because
take
it's going
real
to be easy.
take real men to speak upon each other and to work things
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. And I also wanted to add, right, that like Hezekiah, like, because you were saying that, you have been through counseling and stuff like that. And, you made a good point, like, supervised visits until he get comfortable with you. And then he's going to have to, this whole situation is going to have to be explained to him. It's like she
Right.
takes things and just say it and expect the kid just to be like, oh, okay. And then
Oh,
next, you
she's
know what I
very
mean?
cavalier with her words. She's very cavalier with her words. And if you haven't paid attention to her, um,
Mhm.
she'll go at you personally and say things just cavalier. You know, you gay, you this,
Right.
your parents that. And it's like you don't get to tell anybody about their parents. You don't get to tell anybody about their other kids. You don't I read a book. I'm a
Especially
say I read a book by a therapist called Jordan Peterson, and
Mhm.
he said it's one chapter in his book, and he says don't it's like don't make comments about other people's houses until your house is together. So
Right.
that's my approach to things. Until my life is 100% together, I'm not gonna make a comment about yours. The problem with that is none of our life is 100% okay all the time. So my issue with her is she gets so cavalier about how she says things about people, family, and life that she can bring up trauma and things and get people, and she doesn't care because nobody has made her be accountable. Again, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna leave. How many times have you heard her say that something was her fault? Or how many times have you heard her say, I'm sorry to somebody? That's my
Right.
issue with
She
her.
never takes accountability. She never takes
It's never
accountability.
accountability.
And she
And
doesn't
that's
have
and
empathy. She has none.
and that's why putting myself inside, back into Hezekiah's life or into Hezekiah's life, I have to be very careful because once he leaves me, that's what he still has to deal with. So it's not as easy as me
Right.
running in there snatching things out. Um, but again, I'm not going to. I'm again, he's a part of my house. So I need to get my house together before I can throw something at anybody else. And I don't got him
Right.
together, so I really can't say nothing about anybody.
Hmm.
But I do know this: if I
Wonderful.
keep him in that house, I'm just as responsible as her for anything that happens to him.
Right.
And I can't have that on my heart.
Right.
So I do have to go because somebody else is messaging me on here, and I told them that
I
I would
I
talk to
know
them.
they are. I just want to tell you thank you for coming, and I do appreciate you. And have a wonderful, wonderful day, sir. Thank you.
You as well.
Thanks. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, he answered my number one question. That was he gonna take the son with him? And that was the number one question.
Yeah.
He answered it.
I mean, I think he's gonna do whatever he needs to do, honestly. I think he's I think he's a good guy, you know. I really do. He sounded like a narc. Wow. Bigo. That's Bigo for you.
Yeah.
Disrespectful. People are so disrespectful. Mm-mm-mm. He sounds more believable
Yeah.
than Cooper.
I believe he's going to do what needs to be done. He's gathering his
Yeah.
stuff, he's getting his information, and he's moving.
Exactly. I think that man, ugh, like after he knew what he was dealing with, I guess that's the only option he thought he had. You know? I mean,
Yeah.
like he sounds like he tries to be a good father or there, for his children. I do think that yeah, he's gonna do what he has to do. I hope everyone you know
And how's she going to sit on here and tell him he needs to get off of here? Nobody told him to get on here. Well, you do too. So I clearly he's not going nowhere if you aren't. So like you said, welcome to Bigo. He's saying welcome to Bigo.
yeah, and I just don't appreciate the people that was in my comments talking about oh, I thought he only had 10 minutes. Damn, it's been an hour. Y'all are so fucking disrespectful. It just don't make no sense. I just don't appreciate it at all. Why the fuck you just didn't leave out of my life? That's my question. Narc parents give you money and shelter all the time. Bitch, you must be a narc your goddamn self. That's why your name is what it is. Beyond, what is it? Bernice Ho, or some shit. Cause you're a whore in your real fucking life. Get the fuck out of my life and have a merry Christmas and a happy New Year, bitch. The fuck? Y'all some really like these people on Beagle are some miserable motherfuckers. Miserable. Child, I don't know. Honey pie. She don't understand what a narc is. She probably laying up with one her damn self. To be honest. And I noticed he said, "Oh, people are messaging me now." I bet they are. It's sad. People can't stand to see nobody do nothing.